that they may need. We also have keyboard devices. Some of these devices can do amazing things like predict text and help students out with their typing skills. We can have enlarged keyboards as well and really accommodate some of their things. There's also the obvious, we talked about this, the iPad. You can also do a Chromebook. And really, I would like to focus more on the software that those provide, such as the speak-to-text. There's the Dragon, if you want to look that up, that allows you to just talk, and then the screen will start writing for you, and it's really, really beneficial. So now I want to switch gears to a philosophy in education called UDL, which is known as the Universal Design for Learning. And we'll get into how that goes with AT in just a second here. So what is UDL? Well, taking this right from the National Center for Universal Design for Learning, it is comprised of 3 principles that we're going to talk about. The first is that it has to have some kind, or the expectation is that there's some representation, which is the what of learning. There's also that it will provide action and expression in the lesson, which is the how of learning. And finally, that there will be provided engagement, which is the why are we learning what it is that we're learning. Now I want to focus more on that second principle, because that's how we get into assistive technology, is the how do we learn? How do we get students to learn and be able to acquire what it is that we're teaching them? And there's a couple different examples with that. We talked about a few earlier. But let's say we have a student with a hearing disability. Okay, so what can we do to accommodate them? What kind of technology can they use? Well, there's the obvious hearing aid. Okay, well, what if the student just has hearing disabilities in terms of they don't hear as well, but they can hear a little? Well, an option we can go with is giving the teacher some kind of device that they wear around them on like a necklace, or they actually hold a microphone, and then there could be speakers up on the ceiling. It sort of broadcasts the sound all over the room, or you could put a couple remote speakers in the back of the class, and then that student, no matter where they are in the room, can hear the teacher as if they were in the front row. Now, thinking of this in terms of universal design for learning, that allows all students to be able to hear at the same time. And so let's say we have little Jimmy in the back, who sits back here and claims frequently that he can't hear the teacher. Well, now that we have sound all around the room by the teacher, little Jimmy can hear. He can hear the teacher no problem. Let's say we have a student who has seeing problems. Maybe they're blind, but more for this, they just don't see as well. Well, we could actually move them to the front of the room, obviously, or we could find something else for them, a different direction, such as providing them a copy of what's being taught right there in front of them. Print off a copy, put it right there in front of them, so they can see what everyone else can see, but it's right here. And we could provide that for any student who has difficulty acquiring or seeing or learning the things that are in front of them. And that's what UDL is all about, is providing a sort of a universal blanket that can go for everyone. If you need a different way of learning, an alternative to learning, UDL sort of covers that. And assistive technology supports that idea 100%. Now, the idea here is that we are closing an achievement gap. Now, let's say the average student is performing maybe here, right about a C plus, B minus average. And a student who needs special services is right about here. And it's because they don't have the ability to engage with or acquire the knowledge the same way that everyone else does. Providing assistive technology closes that gap to get to here. And if we think about it in terms of using this in the universal design for learning, not only do these students come up, but now everyone has a chance to go up as well. And all students learn and increase their knowledge, which is just really amazing. So how do we adopt assistive technology? Well, you could, as a general ed teacher or a special ed teacher, you could just kind of throw it upon the class. Or you could put it in little by little. Both has their pros and cons. Where if you were to throw it in all at once, you might have varying levels of students being able to find success with the technologies. And a lot of them will gain, but it may not be right away. Some of them may have a learning curve, but eventually they'll all get there. If you do it sort of sparingly, little at a time, you might see a drop-off right away, where students are trying to figure out how to manage this technology. They might have to get over the fact that it's a toy, but eventually you're going to see that increase. So those are kind of my thoughts on assistive technology, and specifically how they can be with universal design for learning. I appreciate the time that you've taken to spend with me today, and have a great rest of the day.